Okay, what I want to talk about now is how to get physical with a girl. And the first thing I want to point out is that in day game versus other forms of game, like say night game, physicality is actually less important. Okay, so you'll see, especially when we get to the infield section, that in a lot of the sets that I do, I am not actually getting all that physical with a girl. What I'm doing instead is I'm escalating in other ways. I'm escalating the content of the conversation, making it more and more sexual or more intimate. Or what I'm doing is I'm escalating the venue. I'm going from the place where we meet to a place that's sort of like an instant date and then to home. And I think that's actually the more effective and more important way to escalate during the daytime. But that said, it is still important that you know how to escalate. And it's especially important that, you know, once you do get her on a date or back to your place, that you can escalate from there. So the physical escalation is still very critical. But understand, in a nighttime club type of environment, physicality is going to be at a premium, and moving them around and escalating the conversation, less important. In day game, the conversation is paramount, and moving them around is very important. So go in knowing that. That said, with physical escalation, I cannot emphasize to you how critical it is to have the right mindset and attitude, and to essentially just like have a pair of balls. Right? When I was learning game for the first probably 6 months that I went out on dates, I came into game as a virgin. I didn't know what I was doing, got a lot of phone numbers, went on a lot of dates. I had a really hard time with getting physical, mostly because I didn't give myself permission. I mean, when I started out, I was at the stage when I would have to like get up my courage and like breathe deeply before I could even like touch a girl on the arm, because I felt like I was imposing on her personal space, or I was doing something bad or awful to her. Understand this, if a girl's on a date with you, or even if a girl's staying and talking to you for a period of time, it's very likely she likes you, and it's very likely that she actually wants you to get physical. Also understand that getting physical, touching someone within a conversational context is totally normal and natural, okay? Even with people that you're not hitting on, even with like your guy friends or whatever, sometimes you'd touch them on the shoulder, tap them on the back, that kind of stuff. So understand that casual touch is totally normal, and you need to just go for it, all right? You need to just do it, just trust that it's okay, and trust this. If you go to touch the girl who clearly likes you, and she isn't okay with it, you're not the weird one who did something awkward. She's the weird one for being like extraordinarily prudish, okay? That's very important. Understand that touch is normal and natural, and understand also you need to go for it, all right? I'm gonna say this again when we get to the kissing section, but I say it in the touching section as well, which is I've never really lost a girl from trying to get physical or trying to kiss a girl when done in the right way, okay? If you do it in a non-creepy, non-weird way, there is no reason for it to be received badly, okay? Now I'm going to teach you a little bit about what is that non-creepy, non-weird way, and that's very important as well. And the key concept I want you to have here is a concept I call 2 steps forward, 1 step back, all right? If you're constantly trying to get physical, if all you're doing is getting physical and then more physical and then more physical, yes, the girl has every reason in the world to be uncomfortable with that. But if you get a little bit physical, back off, chill out a little bit, go a little bit further, back off, chill out a little bit, and keep escalating. Like I said, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And 2 and 1 is not like a golden ratio or something like that. It's just the idea that you want to be pushing forward and then pulling back. You want to pressure on, pressure off, escalate, let it breathe, okay? It's a rhythm, it's a pace. And the other thing is, if you ever do get any kind of negative reaction to your escalation, immediately back off, chill out, go back to a more normal conversation, and then you can escalate again at a later time, okay? Here's another key concept as far as game in general goes. No meaning resistance, but no doesn't mean no, it means not yet or not now, okay? There are many girls that initially rejected me and then went home with me. There are many girls that were uncomfortable with me getting physical at one point in the interaction, and then we ended up having sex. But what happened was they needed more time. They needed to get to know me better. They needed me to, convey my personality a little bit better, more time for comfort, etc. And then later on, they were okay and they were ready, or maybe even they would escalate on me at that point. Okay, so understand that it is a bit of a process and there is some patience. And it's not like like with a guy, we kind of look at a girl and we're like, either I'd sleep with her or I wouldn't. Girls are not like that. They're not like a light switch where it's on or off. They're kind of like a dimmer switch where it's like, you're constantly making it brighter as you turn. And you have to you have to turn it far enough. So it is a process. It does take some time. Next concept in escalation, and this works again for all forms of escalation, but specifically here with the physical escalation, is change her mood, not her mind. The way that you're going to sleep with a girl is not by convincing her. You don't present like a lengthy legal brief, have an argument with all your bullet points, and show her that you have an airtight case for her sleeping with you. Even if you were to do that, because it's argumentative, she would probably be turned off and not want to sleep with you. Okay? The way that women are convinced, and actually really the way that most people are convinced in most things, but in particular women, is emotionally first, and then they justify it logically. Okay? So appeal to the emotions first. So what does this mean? It means if you try and escalate in a particular way, say that you try and touch a girl and she's not like so okay with it, don't argue with her about why it's okay to touch, or don't try and go even further just to prove that you're alpha or something like that. Instead, back off, chill out, and then have fun. Joke around, kid around, don't make a big deal about it. Don't act butthurt about the fact that she gave you a minor bit of rejection or resistance. Have a good interaction, get her in a good mood, and then try again. Which actually brings me to the next point, which is escalate on high points. When things are going well, that's when you want to try these things. When she's giggling and laughing and clearly likes you, a little like, oh, you're so cute, hug her, makes total sense. If you're in a moment where there's a lot of tension or it's very quiet or nothing's really happening, and then out of nowhere you just decide to start groping her, that's going to be weird and awkward, okay? So you want to escalate on high points. Little advanced note. You don't always want to escalate on high points as you get better and better. Sometimes on high points, if you want to get really good at game, what you want to do is actually push her away on the high point, because pushing her away on the high point, that's going to get her to chase you even more. But understand that both of these moves, escalations and pushaways, basically intense emotional moves and things that really move the set forward one way or another, should be done on high points, should be done when things are going well. When things aren't going well, that's when you offer value, have a good conversation, have a good interaction, wait for that next high point, and then again, you can escalate or move the set forward in whatever other way. Okay, so you want to make your moves on those high points when the interaction is good.